Join me as I get my journal ready for the month of August. Summer is just at the peak, so let's get some summer vibes using some old, combining it with some new stickers to make a unique Dutch door spread. And if you would like to find out how I bring in this acetate, stay tuned. What's up, everyone? This is Priya here. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning. And if this is the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. Here I share tips, ideas, and inspiration to make your planner and journal spreads pretty and functional. Starting my setup for the last month in this B5 journal. And I have some Happy Planner sticker books, some Live Love Posh sticker books, some Planything, and some older Aesthetic Plan sticker books. So as you can see, I have a good mix of old and new squad girls here, along with some of the alphas as well, because you will need to spell August. And I also have a set of scrapbook paper from the last, one of the recent releases, sub boxes from Planything. I don't end up using them though. I just had to bring them in just in case. And I also have this pack of acetate. Sorry about that glare. I will try and lift it. Yeah, so I'll link everything I'm using, including all the shops and the exact names of the sticker books. So don't worry about having to memorize any of that. And I'll move all these aside. And there is a funny story behind how I got this inspiration to get started with this setup. And this is the last week for July, and this is where I was, and I have just a month's worth of pages here. And I'll get to the story a bit later. Let's get started first, because otherwise we would all be sitting here all day. And I'll quickly show you all the tools, all my usual guys. And of course, my gyro cut and the paper clip, if at all I need something to secure the pages with. And as you can see, I have used this pretty much all the way through. And the ocean views from Plans. I'm not an affiliate for Plans, but I still wanted to use my stash because such gorgeous stickers, and I don't get to really use them a lot because a lot of other brands have commitments I have with. So it is sad that such pretty sticker books are just sitting there on the shelf. So I just wanted to make sure I bring them in, and I'm trying to measure how much space I will have for the actual acetate. So I'm just leaving the front page as is because that's where the acetate will come. And the idea behind that acetate, or bringing the acetate rather, would be to have a picture frame with some gorgeous summer outdoor water beachfront kind of image right there. And when you turn the page, as in when you fold the acetate, not exactly fold, but when you turn the page to reveal what the image from the front looks, then you would see all the different layers and all the intricate work behind there. So that is kind of where I wanted to replicate here. So we are starting with this page, and this is the geode kind of stickers, and these definitely replicate the gemstones, and I'm just bringing in a scrap from an earlier use just to finish off that edge so that we can get started with our Dutch doors. And this is going to be nice and simple. And this is where our first Dutch door is done. And if you can spot the self-healing cutting mat, that is something I really like to bring in every time there is a paper cutting involved, because that protects the entire journal. Because with nice 160 GSM paper, it is sad if you have to see the damage on the beautiful, luxurious journal. And I use the paper clip from Journal Say, along with all the scissors, the tools, the self-healing cutting mat. And my code Priya can earn you 8% off at Journal Say. And for Arch and Olive, Planything, Live Love Posh, Washi Tape Shop, and a few other shops, my code Priya10 can earn you 10% off. And can you see how I'm bringing in those bubbles to complete that sticky part of the sticker from the other side of the page? And I'm just trying to make sure I have the entire sticky surface covered. Never be afraid to cut up your stickers, and you just place the elements as and when they are required. So that is going to be our, yes. So the back pages will also need this decoration or stickering up, because we do have the shapes which are mismatched. Had it been like an entirely symmetrical set of stickers, this would not have occurred. But since it is the same design on either side, when you flip the orientation, you do have odd shapes sticking out. So that is what we just covered up. You can skip this part entirely and go with just plain simple washi tapes, if that's what you prefer, instead of going through this long route. And let's get to the next layer. And this is where I would like to share that I have a video where I share 15 pro tips on how you can get started with Dutch doors. And that is a very, very beginner friendly video, a very useful tutorial, which lots of people have reached out saying it has really been helpful, because I share my tips from what I have learned through my creative processes. And I just break it down for you so that you can just take care of a few stuff, and then you will start making Dutch doors like a pro. And now I'm bringing in the distress oxides. And I do have a full playlist of all the different techniques you can use. Just again, very beginner friendly stuff. And what you need to be mindful of or be careful about, if you don't want these inks all over your surface and your hands and just smearing all over the place. So, a few things that you can keep in mind. And as you can see, I'm bringing in the blue for the ocean, and that sandy kind of color for the actual ocean floor or the sandy surface. And we also have some corals and some of the other sea life that can always look cool for such setups. And when you use distress inks, a small tip from me: when you use such distress oxides, just make sure that you bring in clear stickers and not the ones with paper backing, because that makes a huge difference in the overall look and aesthetic of the full setup. Because with a white backing, that ink and the finish that gives for the whole spread, it's just invisible. It's just all hidden. So you don't have that visual appeal when you have the backing. So just make sure you pick clear stickers when you are working with distress oxide, so that that ink can really shine through. And now let's get to the squad girls. And these are, again, I'm trying to bring in some older squad girls. And if you noticed, the squad girls and the stick babes have been relaunched in the updated, revamped versions. So you will have a better luck getting these girls, because I know a lot of us, I'm saying us because I was included, because some of those were really old sticker books and Happy Planner no longer had them in their inventory. So it was tough getting hold of those elements. So it was really the destash groups, and you have no idea how much some people would ask for a normal sticker book, which they would have grabbed at a very good rate, given that that was quite a few years ago. So if you wait for sales, I think you can still grab the stick babes and the squad girls at a very good price. And I think they do still have it at full price because they just relaunched it. And I'm also bringing in some of the Planny Thing summer sticker books. And again, don't worry about the names, I'll have all those names in the description. And I'm also bringing in some of the kids because they fit perfectly in that space we have. Let's make sure that flamingo floaty is visible. And this is where I think the acetate just covers this much. And this would look like a good framed picture when you look through the acetate window. And that is the third Dutch door all done. And we will now decorate the back page while I'll tell you a quick story of how I got the idea for this. So, sometime a few days back, I had gone to bed and I was there trying to go to sleep. But then there are moments where suddenly the ideas strike you and you have to kind of write it down somewhere so that you don't forget the next time you are looking for ideas for your spreads. And this was one of them. And I came out quickly, grabbed my notepad, and quickly made a note of what I had wanted to do. So the acetate window was one of them. And combining it this way with all these elements was also something I thought would look nice. And let me know in the comments if you agree. And if you would like to see more behind the scenes and would really like to have a say on my channel, please check out the membership options. I have the details below. And it is similar to Patreon, but it's here on YouTube. And they are the first group of folks who I reach out to because, yeah, sometimes it could be a poll, it could be like deciding on my next journal, because I will be finishing up with this journal at the end of August. So, sometime in early August, I will be having a poll of the next options I would have in my stash, which I could use or bring in as a journal for the last part of the year. And that would last me roughly 4 months. And this journal, the B5s and the A5s from Arch and Olive, have 160 pages. So it is easily about 10 pages per month. And that's good enough given that I do the Dutch door. So there is some writing space compromised there. And I also have 3 or 4 pages at the beginning of each month. Once I have the cover page ready, just like you're going to see here, the first couple of pages are going to be like the memories, the highlights of the month. So even after all that, I can still accommodate 4 months in each journal. And if you would like to find out how my craft room looks, I have a full tour and I share lots of organization ideas. I share how I store my sticker books and my journals and lots of things I have done to organize my stash. And you will see exactly what I mean when I say you should be using your stash, because we all end up buying a lot of stuff, and then a lot of stuff gets sent to you from different brands. So my space, I don't have a craft room per se. So my craft space is just overflowing with stuff. So it is interesting to see how the less organized space looks in real life. And I do share sneaks of my real life, even when the things are like overflowing everywhere. I do keep it genuine and I do share it with my members. And we all say that it's a non judgmental zone, but I know we all realize. And then you see somebody else's collection and you're like, oh, okay, I have more. So that's how sometimes I feel. So let me know if you are in the same boat. And I again get asked why I have boxes for my journal inside my journal setups, because for multiple reasons. Again, I remind people to use their stash, and also we have so many boxes sitting in a lot of those sticker books, unused, untouched, and I think we can all admit that we will have enough to last us for our lifetimes and beyond. So I think we should use as many of those boxes as we possibly can whenever there is an excuse, because why not? And can you see how I'm bringing in the stained glass elements, the sea animals, and then bringing in that touch of distress oxide so that it can all look like it is the blue waters that these are all hanging out in. And we are going to our next Dutch door. And can you see how you can build these elements? And as you can see, this has been very well used. So I would really like to finish off that corner, and I'm bringing in the ink, just those touches near the edges. And this is the diver right there. I want the diver to be visible. Let me know if you have dived anywhere. There are so many dive sites, gorgeous underwater worlds that you get to dive into. And I have dived a few times. And sometimes you get lucky, the visibility is amazing. It depends on a lot of factors, of course. But if you do not have a good visibility, it's kind of sad because it's so colorful. And for a lot of underwater stuff and watching or seeing them, I think snorkeling would also work, because if the coral or the underwater world is healthy, colorful, and you have so much life, then you don't have to dive that deep. So, snorkeling might be the best bet. So, that's how when we did our snorkeling in the Red Sea. It was really, really colorful. It was so fun. And you're really amazed at such a beautiful world that's out there. And unless you go under the water, you're just missing out on all that. So now let's bring in these bubbles. And as you can see, some have a clear backing and some of those have a paper backing. So can you tell what exactly I'm doing now? Because for the last page on the right, we do need the stickers with clear backing. So I'm switching out all these stickers with the clear backing because obviously it looks better on the distress oxide. So I'm just bringing in the bubbles with the paper backing so that the front page can look about the same and maybe slightly better because the paper stickers are what the remaining ones are. And for the clear stickers, I don't want the sticky part to be all visible. So I'm switching out all the bubbles to make sure that I have all the clear stickers on the right side. So now let's get to the framing of the scene kind of part. Let me mark where exactly I would like to have that cut. And I'm just making sure that I have the correct spot marked because I need to cut off the page at the top. And this is where it gets a bit tricky, but then I also have to cut the acetate. And I think I would rather take out the paper trimmer. And this paper trimmer is also from Journal C. So we have two pieces. One is a square and one is a more of a rectangular one. And I think I'll go for the smaller one, which we originally had intended for the space. Also, because you will see why. Because I don't want a bigger window. You can always opt for the bigger window, that's not a big deal, but I have something else in mind if you do not guess. So I'm just marking the corners. So what I need to do is cut inside of those markings I have, just trying to keep it as straight as possible. And I'm keeping it inside those. So this is the window we have, and that's where our scene comes together. And now let's bring in the washi to secure the acetate, and let's just use the kneaded eraser to erase all the pencil markings I have. And can you see how it is coming together? Now let's put the washi. I just didn't want to have the acetate first. Maybe I should have. And I'm roughly creating that window, but don't worry, I will trim off the corners, just making sure it is nice and perfect. The washi tapes meeting at the corner there. And let's slide in that acetate. And I have linked all the products I'm using, including the kneaded eraser or this acetate or the corner rounder. I have my Amazon storefront where I have neatly organized everything so that you can just go and pick all the journaling and planner supplies you need. So I have my favorite pens in a category. I have my sticker paper recommendations. I have my favorite fountain pens, the gel pens, which I switch between. And it's all neatly organized. And all the paper clips, both of them, not two, three of them, are all from journal say too, before you ask, because sometimes when I take out the paper clips, I do get asked where they're from. And I don't always come and use the paper clips, but sometimes I do. So let's finish off the back side as well before we can start decorating the edges, and then we will need to have our functional parts down, which will include boxes, of course. And let's fix those corners. And you will also see how easy it is to get that corner nice and trimmed, because that washi cutter is a metal one. And sometimes when you use non-metallic tools for such uses, it gets tricky because sometimes you damage the edge of the cutter, and there are so many accidents that could happen. And now let's see. We need to spell August. And I'm not sure what is available at Planything, but Planything just relaunched their sub boxes, and they have also started with a functional subscription box dropping first of every month, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So this is our next Dutch door, and I'm keeping it at the base there, just trimming off that edge. Why, you may ask? For multiple reasons. On the right side, I would really like that coral to be visible, and on the left side we are going to have some more of these stained glass underwater scenery. And if you can see, it's like 3 different stickers, and if I can have that straight, that would be amazing, but sometimes it just doesn't, because I don't want my head sticking into the filming frame, and otherwise getting that straight is a task. It's not bad. And we will now come and add the rest of our elements to complete that scene. And let's start with this edge again, sitting that snug against the washy window that we have. And there is some weird white space in between. So what do? These sticker books have lots of these amazing clusters depending on what you're looking for. So let's see. We have these ones which you can just sit right there. Let's just cut off a bit of the width so that it can just sit there and not quite interfere with any of the elements we already have going on. And we will also come and add some of those bubbles to kind of pull everything together. So some of those bubbles really do look real off that geode strip we have. It looks very interesting, and it does give that extra depth that I was looking for. They definitely look like bubbles, don't they? So I'm bringing them in, and I'm also bringing some of this black and white washi from the washi tape shop. Now let's ink that corner piece, and just rounding that corner, that one simple act, it really, really makes the whole spread a bit more finished. At least I feel it that way. Let me know if you agree as well. And all case study plan sticker books have pre-made clusters all decorated for you. So why would we not use them? Especially from the first sticker book, where they have lots of these beautiful, colorful clusters that did come out crooked, didn't it? So let's bring some of those pre-made clusters. So this is the area I was saying that this is where it would be the space for the highlights or the special memories or something special that happened during the month. So this is where it goes. And we will also come and add more clusters, and then maybe for our clusters we could bring in some other elements. But again, this set of clusters that I put down is all beautifully done already to just complete everything, pull everything together. And why don't we just, should we bring them in? I'm not sure. And these are, again, these boxes. Yeah, just make sure it's straight. That's all I would like. And we also have some of these clusters, which are perfect for these bigger, more white space pages. And we will make some of these clusters so that we can just use all these elements given for the purpose, because there's only a handful of these pre-made clusters, but then you have a lot of the other pages where you have to make your own clusters because the elements are all given to you. It's just a matter of assembling them. And let me know how you're liking these. And also, please let me know if you have these sticker books in your collection. And if you have used them up entirely, I would like to know. And finishing off the pages using some of the other boxes. And a lot of these elements are very much usable, and it's only just a few years ago that these came out, so I'm glad I'm reminded to use these once more. And please come follow me on Instagram. I do share more spreads and more sneaks, even if they don't quite get YouTube videos. And if you like today's video, please take a moment to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell notification as well so that you do not miss out on any future videos coming. And please find all the shops, products, links, codes, all the upcoming releases, all that information in the description so that you can go check them out and grab anything that you have your eyes on. And thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.